The Madras Regiment is one of the oldest infantry regiment of the Indian Army, originating in the 1750s. The regiment took part in numerous campaigns with both the British Indian Army and the post-independence Indian Army. The town of Madras was founded in 1639 in the first Fort St. George in 1644. In August 1758 they were formed into regular companies of 100 men each with a due proportion of Indian officers, havildars, naiks, etc., and in December of that year the first 2 battalions were formed with a European subaltern to each company and a captain to command the whole. These officers were mostly seconded from the King's service with a step in rank. They were of a better class, better educated and above all had far more military experience than the company's officers. The Madras Regiment was initially formed as the Madras European Regiment in the 1660s by the East India Company as the second company established in India. However, it was formed as a battalion in 1748 under the command of Major Stringer Lawrence. The battalion was involved in all the battles against the French forces in India. Lawrence structured the regiment to include 2 battalions, 1 European and 1 Sepoy, Indian. Both battalions were similar in structure and included 7 companies each, with each company including 3 officers in command and 70 privates. Also part of the companies were 4 sergeants and corporals and 3 drummers. The oldest battalion of the regiment, and thus the Indian Army, was the 9th Battalion, formerly known as the Nair Brigade, Nair Patalam, Nair Army. This militia was raised in 1704 at Padmanabhapuram as bodyguards for the Maharaja of Travancore, and were active in the Battle of Calicut in defeating the Dutch forces. The army was made up of soldiers from Nair warrior clans. However, after the 1940s, non-Nairs were permitted to join. The Nair Army became incorporated into the Indian Army in April 1951. In 1748, Major Stringer Lawrence, a veteran of action in Spain, Flanders, and the Highlands, was hired by the East India Company to take charge of the defense of Cuddalore. He laid the foundations of what was to become the Indian Army. Training the levies to become a militia, the Madras levies were formed into companies and trained to become a disciplined and fine fighting force. In 1758 Lawrence raised the Madras Regiment, forming the several companies of Madras levies into 2 battalions. 2 Madras was raised in 1776 as the 15th Carnatic Infantry at Tanjavur, and underwent many name changes thereafter. The regiment has been through many campaigns with both the British Indian Army and the Indian Army. Many well-known British officers have commanded this regiment, among them Robert Clive. This regiment fought in the Carnatic Wars, which were fought in South India. The elephant crest symbolizes its gallantry in the Battle of Assaye under Arthur Wellesley, later Duke of Wellington. Thereafter the British annexed the Indian subcontinent, largely with the help of the Madras Regiment Sepoys. The coming of the British rule and merging the presidency armies into a British Indian Army led the erstwhile regiments to be reorganized. After conquest of India, the main perceived threat to British was from Russia. So recruitment was reoriented towards North Indians of Punjab and Nepal. This resulted in the British reducing the strength of the Madras Regiment since the southern borders were relatively peaceful. After many years, this regiment was re-raised with fresh recruits and a draft of troops from the Madras Sappers during World War II. The newly reborn Madras Regiment performed very creditably during the Burma campaign. After independence, the infantry battalions of the Travancore, Nair Patalam, Cochin, and Mysore state forces were amalgamated into the Madras Regiment. Post-independence saw the consolidation of the regiment and reaffirmation of the versatility and valor of the South Indian troops when the battalions of the regiment fought fierce battles during the 1947-48 Jammu and Kashmir operations, the 1962 Sino-Indian conflict and the Indo-Pak Wars of 1965 and 1971. The deployment of as many as 7 battalions of the regiment in Sri Lanka during Operation Pawan in 1987-89 was a testimony to the faith the Indian Army reposed in the loyalty, dedication, and valor of the troops of the Madras Regiment. 2 battalions, 3 and 25 Madras, of the regiment have been awarded unit citations by the COAS in recognition of their splendid service in combating insurgency in Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab. Further 2 battalions serve the nation in the world's highest battlefield in the sub-zero temperatures of Siachen Glacier. The Madras Regiment has taken part in various humanitarian aid operations in India. It has also taken part in various UN peacekeeping missions. The 1st Battalion, former 73rd Carnatic Infantry, became the 1st Battalion of the Mechanized Infantry Regiment. Currently the regiment has a strength of 21 battalions as follows. 2nd Battalion, Old 75th Carnatic Infantry. 3rd Battalion, Old 79th Carnatic Infantry. 4th Battalion, Old 83rd Walajahabad Light Infantry. 5th Battalion, Ferocious 5. 6th Battalion, Old 2nd BTN/2ND Madras Native Infantry. 7th Battalion, Old 28th Madras Native Infantry. 8th Battalion, Gallant Guerrillas. 9th Battalion, former 1st Travancore Infantry, Princely State Forces. 10th Battalion. 11th Battalion, Old Territorial Battalion. 12th Battalion, Old Territorial Battalion. 16th Battalion, former 2nd Travancore State Infantry, Princely State Forces. 17th Battalion, former Cochin State Infantry, Princely State Forces. 18th Battalion, former 1st Mysore Wadiyar Infantry, Princely State Forces. 19th Battalion, former 2nd Mysore State Infantry, Princely State Forces. 20th Battalion, raised 2009. 21st Battalion, raised 2011. 25th Battalion, Old Garrison Battalion. 26th Battalion, Old Garrison Battalion. 27th Battalion, Old Garrison Battalion. 28th Battalion, Old Coastal Defense Battalion. 8 Rashtriya Rifles. 25 Rashtriya Rifles. 38 Rashtriya Rifles. 54 Rashtriya Rifles. Besides the 21 line battalions, the Madras Regiment has 3 Territorial Army battalions. 110th Infantry Battalion, T8, situated in Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. 122nd Infantry Battalion, TA, situated in Kannur, Kerala. 172nd Infantry Battalion, T8, situated in Campbell Bay, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The Madras Regiment Band, a full-time Indian military band that serves as part of the Madras Regimental Centre in Wellington. It was raised in 1951 purely as a brass band and has evolved over the years to become a symphonic band as well. Today, it consists of a concert band, a brass band and a percussion section. It performs at arrival ceremonies for state visits as well as state dinner hosted at the Rashtrapati Bhavan by the President of India, as well as regimental and community events. The regiment still recruits heavily from Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh, with a slight majority of Tamil and Malayalam-speaking recruits. Drill commands by NCOs are commonly given in Tamil or Malayalam. However, since the 1990s the percentage from Karnataka and Telugu-speaking recruits has increased. Commands are also given through Telugu and Kannada. Also, the officers of the regiment can be from any part of India. Let those who come after see to it that these names be not forgotten, for they who at the call of duty left all that was dear to them, endured hardships, faced dangers, and finally passed out of sight of men in the path of duty and self-sacrifice, giving their lives that we might live in freedom.